Everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Westergaard.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Frank.
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes.
Waltman.
Yep.
Note Steinkamp is absent.
Public forum. Would anybody like to speak? Chris?
I'll jump up.
Sweet. Help yourself.
Just want to talk to the council here and kind of make them aware of what problems we're running into with selling our properties in Harrison Street over there. We do have a buyer for one side, but in the appraisal part of this, there's a building code that they came upon that once we split the property in two, there's no longer 7,500 square feet to rebuild in case of a catastrophic occurrence. Obviously, we have 11,000 some odd square feet that we built on the property, the townhomes. But now it seems like it's become a problem. Visited with Dale a little bit, we talked with Teresa, thought, we'd just get ourselves a variance to help take care of that. We were using wording to split the properties, like the lot 6 and the west 14 feet of the block 7, or lot 7. That doesn't sound like that is what they think will fly. So now we're having to probably have it replotted, which means we have to get the surveyor back. And to do that, we're talking probably $1,500, $2,000 again. We'd like some assurance that if we do spend that money again, that the Board of Adjustment will grant us a variance. We're a little gun shy of doing that right now.
Can you explain to everybody else what you need the variance only because of the wording, the way we have it in our...
Right, so
The city code really doesn't address townhomes.
it doesn't define it. So
Correct.
how they're selling the property is a single-family, semi-detached dwelling. There isn't anything in our zoning code that actually addresses it. The district that they're in is R2, which allows for what they built as they built it. It doesn't stipulate, and it says two-family dwelling. But when you go to the bulk requirements of minimum lot area size, all it states is single-family dwelling, 7,500 square feet. It doesn't state anything about a two-family dwelling. It doesn't state anything, structure. We've kind of gone around. I did bring in planning, a member of planning and zoning, and we looked at it at the time, and we didn't think, really that there was an issue. But as we've gone through this over the last about week and a half, and talking with our city attorney, going through the zoning code, me talking with other communities, that have actually addressed some of this in their own code, that we really need to, planning and zoning needs to address it for situations like this. But in the meantime, the Board of Adjustment, the fastest way that we can try and get through this process is for them to allow a variance, and I'm wording it in the Board of Adjustment for only a single-family, semi-detached dwelling that we're asking for the relaxation of the 7,500 square feet. Because as the structure, as its whole, it meets our zoning requirements. It's just how when it's being sold as a single-family, semi-detached dwelling, it doesn't. And when it goes to the level of where it's going with lenders, they're looking at it and saying we don't have it defined well enough for them to be assured that we wouldn't come back and say, if something catastrophic were to happen, that there would be, that we would allow them to rebuild. Although I say that's silly, but again, we don't have it defined on paper that says this isn't an issue. So we have other properties like this in town, so we do need to address it. It's just trying to get past this one and then,
Right, there's
Move
one
forward.
other property in town right now that is
Yep.
currently for sale, and another one that will be for sale.
Right.
With the same exact problem.
yes, so we need to address it. You're correct.
And, yeah, and now, well, and like I said to you the other day, $100 that we have to pay to go before the Board of Adjustment, is kind of small potatoes in the other things that we're
Right.
spending money on, but, you know, when it's
Yeah.
gonna set precedent for everybody else, why is there even a fee?
And so then we get back to, you know, the reason why he's going, you know, discussing this, the survey is that our subdivision ordinance states that what he is doing is basically subdividing his lot out, and that takes a requirement on a replat. So he has to have it surveyed, has to have, you know, by definitions, a meets and bounds survey versus a, you know, just a general, you know, legal description of, we're gonna take lot 7 and we're gonna take, you know, 40 feet of this and yeah, and it's good. At the end of the day, according to our, you know, and Dave Jennett even said, you know, that we still have to meet those replat regulations, which require the council to certify a replat once it's completed. And then I found out after reading through some other things today that we also have to take this to the zoning board.
So,
the-
yeah,
The
we're
zoning
asking-
board has to look at it and then the council can make the decision on the
We're asking
replat.
to try and move along as quickly as we can, even if we have to have a special meeting, because luckily so far, it has not scared off our purchaser. I think a lot of people would have cut and ran.
Well, wouldn't we have the same issue out at Bobby Terrence?
That's the other one that will be for sale.
Well,
State
it depends,
Park, it's
it
several.
depends on how he would create it. If you were to create a horizontal property regime and only sell units versus land under units, then that creates a whole different ballgame in and of itself. Where this is, we're actually subdividing the ground out into the various lots. And, you know, even though it's a single structure, he's dividing it so that this half gets, you know, gets their portion of the land and this half gets their portion of the land. So that's where you run into this. But yes, if Bobby Terrells were to do this, something similar, we'd have the same issue, you're correct,
Even in the future, if anyone who owns a duplex in town now would decide,
yes.
you know, I wanna essentially get out and I wanna sell units separately like a townhome, again, there's nothing in that addresses this now, so.
Right, and that's
So
why,
you need-
yes,
yeah,
we
you would
need
need
to,
to get-
we need to address it wholeheartedly.
Right.
Can I say something, which, you know, it sounds like you have to go through all the steps to get it right. But I you know, watched that adjustment board, and I kinda have some issues, because I don't think anyone on that board has had any training, any professional training. And there are workshops that give training, put on by the League of Cities, I'm sure, the state of Iowa. I remember I went to one as a council person. So a lot of the adjustment board is based on hardship. And when I listen to their meetings, they don't talk about hardship at all. In fact, they turned down one that was the biggest hardship I'd ever heard of, and they turned that down. I just don't think, I think they need guidance, I think they need training, and I think they need to remember, this is a hardship for them. That should be their argument to the adjustment board. This is a hardship for us because of your code.
When
And yeah, I
Chris was
think
talking
the
to
code
me,
should be fixed.
He was talking about rush law, I said, special, he was asked about a special meeting, I said, I don't think there's an issue with a special meeting, we come to the council and ask, get everybody's input, we can have a special meeting, try to move it along. Yes, it's not our rush, but I understand their rush, so let's get, I told him I didn't think we'd have a problem moving it along as fast as we
Yeah,
can.
No.
this is an issue that's never come up and it needs to be fixed.
Fix it quick.
Let's fix it.
Yeah.
How soon can we set that meeting up?
Do we have to wait for?
Well, they
Board
have
of
the
Adjustment.
planning and zoning meeting set for the 14th, they have.
Well, we have the
certain-
Board of Adjustment meeting is set for the 14th.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So then I have to get planning and zoning together, but I really need to have the replat in my hands for me to have a planning and zoning meeting.
So we need to get it replatted.
Which we've been told by the surveyor that he would get in there on a quick notice. But,
Yeah, and we have another one. So I've actually, one that I found out today with Mr. Shaven, that we have the, not same issue, but something similar on a subdivision, so I can get it as soon as I can get everybody together and I have the documentation in hand.
And I think what you're looking for is some type of input from the council, that you're spending all this money
I'm gonna say,
and
yeah,
not getting the
that's
register.
the expensive
Well,
part, is
I
having
mean-
the surveyor come back in.
Right, so, I mean, at the end of the day, I could probably, I don't have to give public notice on planning and zoning, but I had to give public notice on Board of Adjustment. So the soonest I could do Board of Adjustment was the 14th. So I could technically try and get a planning and zoning meeting together for later on, in the evening of the 14th, that's a Thursday. And then council could revisit this technically on the 18th on Monday, and have it all decided, if, you know, if that's the way, that would be the fastest.
I guess, like I said, I'm not asking for a promise, I'm asking for some assurance though that,
Yeah,
This is,
that should give you
you
some,
know,
I mean, all this
we
is
are talking about having this.
really a wording
The,
thing.
the minimum square footage that you're asking for is nothing new in about 100% of any other community that I went out and questioned about this when we first talked about this a week or so ago. So as far as that is concerned, it shouldn't matter one iota,
Okay,
so.
well,
So why did
we
the
will-
adjustment board turn it down? What was
They
it?
haven't.
They haven't
They
turned it down.
haven't met yet.
Oh,
So we will, we'll,
And then he
we'll
did ask,
we'll get our guy in there and get it done then.
and he did ask about a special meeting, council meeting to approve it on the 13th if everything else went.
Well, and we could do that too if you wanted to do
You
that,
have
if
to
I
have Board of
get it all
Adjustment,
timed
P and
right.
Z, and council all on the same night.
Right.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
But your following Monday, you're having a regular council meeting.
I'll bring beer.
You guys coming too?
Wait, I don't drink beer. Yeah. Diet Pepsi?
All right, well,
But yeah, I think the council's all on board with it. It's just it's a wording thing in our code that we've been working on changing some stuff. We just haven't got that far, and I think everybody's on the same page.
well, you're welcome for us bringing it up then.
Yeah.
Thanks for hearing us.
Thank you.
Yep.
You guys. Anybody else for public forum?
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, consent agenda. Any additions or corrections? If not, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Waltman,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Utilities director report. Jason?
We worked with a contractor to replace broken sewer line and replacing the portion in Denison Beach, swept the streets. Everybody knows about the aerator issue. It is clean, we're just waiting on what we call the media balls. They were supposed to be here Friday, haven't heard anything else since. I was told he'd call me by the end of today. He hasn't called, so first thing tomorrow morning I'll be calling him, find out where they're at. Finished sewer jetting half of the town, locates, mowed and mulched the leaves for the event and speaker park, moved picnic tables for the event and speaker park, dug in the duct for a street light at Soak that was hit for the third time, unhooked service on Blossom Street, spliced a wire meter socket and terminated on Blossom, moved a grave that we had the mistake with. The guys worked on the meters for the storage units, cleaned the aerator some more. Figured out the issue with the generator at the water plant. It tripped out for some reason, not sure why. Got on the phone with Cummings and they walked us through how to reset it. Figured out the issue with the programming at the water plant and the wastewater plant. Potholed the wires at the bank. Changed out a transformer for a new business. Worked on the meters again at the storage unit. Sorry, typed that one twice. Finished the riser pole and jumpers, cleaned up the park, moved the picnic tables, tilled the community gardens, winterized the Colorado, moved the Kubota tractor up to the shop, took the pickleball nets down, called about removing the docks, removed the one dock that we can remove, took hung lights and took down the banners. We cut the road for the new service that we have to put in out on Sunset Drive. We'll rip the concrete up tomorrow, and on Wednesday when our locate's good, we'll actually start digging. Pushed up the brush pile. Back for the gas company who worked and found out about the light thing at the school, and working with the contractor on how to get our boiler system here in the city hall to actually work and continue to work and not fill with water.
Are you hiring the docks removed now?
Jimmy does the 2 floaters for us.
Because of how deep the poles are.
We'll take them out at the end of the week.
I have a question for you. When we're cutting trees down in town, we're leaving 8, 10, 12-foot stumps. Is there a reason for that?
So this winter when we don't have snow to push and it's cold, we can go drop them and we can put all those off to the side instead of when we top them, then we have to take the bigger stuff and try to get that off to the side. It's a way for us to not have to do so much out at the dump and try to keep the bigger stuff that we can't burn off to the side.
Just seems like it's double the work going back with all the equipment. All the equipment's there. Why not cut the big stump down and put it in a pile out the... You're going back twice to do the same job. All the equipment's there. You got 2, 3 pieces of equipment there. Cut that stump down, load it up and haul it out.
The biggest reason why we thought about doing it is making sure we're staying busy and we're not putting the stuff in the brush pile that we can't burn. This way it's separated.
Just, it was a question and brought to my attention, I'm asking.
Right. And that was my reasoning behind it after talking with the guys. They thought that was a great idea also. And we decided to try it.
What are we doing with the stump situation? Are we getting somebody hired to come in and get started? Because there's quite a few around.
We
Yeah,
don't have it in the budget, so it'll have to be in this next budget. So as soon as we start the budget process.
We need to get a quote and get it so that it gets in the budget appropriately, so we know how much we're dealing with.
And how many stumps do we have?
It'll be over 100 when you're all done, but
Well, currently we're probably at about 45 to 50.
yeah, you could probably only do 10 or 12 a day, you know, when he does come in, so, you know, you'd have several days worth already.
Plus we'll probably have some next summer too, right?
Yeah, we'll probably, it's
It'll be a
probably gonna be,
continuous
it's probably gonna be a
process.
phased project, yes.
I'd like to
Jason,
tell
is it
you
too
we're
late-
done.
Is it too late to do the water shut off at that Borkowski's house on 7th Lake and the grocery store?
The water shut off.
The water shut off sticking up in the sidewalk about that high?
I've talked to 2 contractors on getting me quotes to do the cement. So I'm waiting on them to get me the quotes to do the cement.
That's all I wanted. Anybody else? City administrator report.
George and I attended the emergency management seminar in Des Moines on Friday. We gathered some very valuable information, we thought. 2 items I copied for you were questions to consider for your community in the introduction to Homeland Security and Emergency Management for local officials, so that you all have a copy of some of the information that George and I received. With several new staff in the last year or so, I think it would be worthwhile exercise to go over our emergency plan and answer the questions on the list, update our plan, so hopefully we won't ever have to execute or use it. I attended the derelict building seminar that Region 12 sponsored a week or so ago, and after the meeting I had a conversation with the gentleman with DNR that spoke. He stated that he thought our old wastewater treatment facility would be a good candidate for the grant that they give out. I plan to talk with Paige Alish, Iowa Waste Exchange Resource Specialist serving Western Iowa, and works at Region 12 about working on an application for the project. This is something that we could do in phases and reapply more than 1 year. I've been working on various items at the community center, including tables and chairs, and seeking out alternatives for comparable chairs for a lower price. We should have samples of the chairs here later this week or early next week. Worked with a contractor that is doing the sculpture base for the sculpture that Gail Chavanel is making for the community center. This needs to be complete to satisfy terms of the grant. Worked with a contractor in trying to get solutions for the 2 columns in the front of the community center where there wasn't any finish plan for them. The contractor is figuring if there's enough stone left over to cover the cement portion of the columns and how to cover the tops. Asked the contractor about minor adjustments in the kitchen to accommodate the 4 upright freezer fridges to ensure that there were enough electrical outlets on separate circuits so we do not blow breakers when several items are running or plugged in the kitchen. Worked with contractor on possible solutions for adding fountain pop at the bar. One of the pop vendors suggested a fake column going to the ceiling to carry the fountain pop tubes that would be needed so everything could be stored in a back room. To match, another fake column would be added to the other side. The contractor didn't think that this would be too much of an added expense. If not, there should be leftover lumber and make it look nice. I've been working with the assessor's office and auditor's office, gathering property tax information and talking with our bond attorney to find a solution for the development agreement for Evapco that was agreed to in 2021 that had not been filed at the county level, to see how we can move forward and stay within the rules of our urban renewal agreement and the state of tax abatement laws. Okay, Tammy and I have been working cleaning up our data and preparing for conversion to the new financial and utility billing software. We have several trainings in the next 4 weeks before we officially go live at the end of November. Worked with the property owner in town, and that's basically the conversation we had with Chris. Kay is working on getting additional information to DGR for our electrical rate study. She's also been working on, you've been working on an additional letter that we're required to send out for the lead service line. You want to describe a little bit of that?
Well, so for anybody that didn't turn their information in, or anybody that had any galvanized pipe whatsoever, or anybody that had lead, we have to send out a letter to all of those folks. So if we don't know what it was, or they didn't know what it was, if you had any galvanized, any lead, letters have to go out to all of those folks, and that's probably roughly 410 letters that need to go out. That's required by the DNR, have to be out by November 16th.
And this will be yearly as long as they are unknown lead or galvanized.
So as long as we continued, and I'm sending out surveys again to all of those people that are unknown to try and get more information so we don't have to send out 400 letters again next year.
I sat in on, Whitey's not here, but I sat in on a meeting for when John did too, for the water, looking at our infrastructure and water. Hats off to Jason and Kay and Teresa for the information they had for our engineering firm. They had piles of stuff that they were looking for, and they were very thrilled to have the information that they got. So they did a great job.
Speaking of that, I just got the flow meter. It arrived today. So we'll be moving that periodically throughout town to get the pressures, and the bottles are ordered for the special sampling that is required, or that they are requiring for us. So probably the first part of next week we'll be doing all the special sampling that they're requiring.
Yeah, we also worked on it. I think they have almost all the additional information that they had requested that we needed to get to them. I think we got all of that to them now too. So pretty much, they will work on it, and we will probably hear back from them, I want to say towards the end of the year, if not right at the beginning of January, for their next, where they're standing at on this project. Also, I received a few of the documents on the bridge replacement project. They're clear as mud to me, but I'm going over them anyway, and asking questions as necessary. Everything has been, I think, advanced to the DNR and the DOT for some of their approval on the work. Also, working on several reports that need filed on the current grants that we have. We received a grant for the walk-in cooler that came Friday. Applications for the community center manager were due on Friday. The board will begin the review of that this week. I think that's it.
How many did you get?
3.
3? Thank you. George, welcome to town. You moved to town.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate that.
So, yeah, I just want to apologize. I haven't been here probably the past 2 meetings. Been kind of busy. Finally got everything into the new house. So now it's just unpacking time, which is always fun. But I just kind of want to go back a little bit just because I haven't been here. So Halloween, I want to give a shout out to Emily and Mr. Meyer. It was a good time. I enjoyed it, even though we lost the chili cook-off. Yeah, and Dave. But I just wanted to give a shout for that one. We've been kind of busy the whole month of October. We had 254 calls for service. During that time, we had a missing adult endangered. I just want to say that we worked pretty well, and I want to give a shout out to Jim and Dave, who was basically right next to me over at the fire department, trying to run that fiasco that we had. It was a good, successful outcome. Another thing is, me and Teresa, as Teresa said, we went to the ICS training, the emergency management. Thought it was very good and informative. I think that it's time to probably look at upgrading our plans and making sure that we're pretty good, which I think that we have some practices in the future, like Water Carnival, starting to do an ICS kind of base scenario, so when it comes down to that time, maybe we'll bring down the emergency management bus so we can make sure that everything works and we'll have a dispatcher and stuff. That's future plans. Other than that, I think that's it.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
We have 2 building permits. Is there any issues with any of those with the council? Well, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Jensen,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Waltman.
Okay, opening bids and consideration for the 350 and the deck over trailer.
How many bids did we get? I'd like to, we got 1 bid for each?
I do not believe so. I think the one has for both.
Huh?
The one will have a bid for the trailer and the truck, and then the other one I believe is just the trailer. So there should be 2 for the trailer, 1 for the truck.
Before we open them, and here's what I wanna say, that before we open them, I would like to, I'll make the motion that we don't open them tonight, and we put that equipment on Big Iron. And the reason I don't wanna open them tonight is to disclose what somebody's bidding on them, since we only got 1 bid on one and maybe 2 on the other. I don't think the advertisement was done right, and, I think we need to search out further. That's just my opinion.
I'll second that motion.
A motion and a second. Roll call.
So the motion is to not open bids and advertise on Big Iron.
Correct. Sell them on Big Iron, yep.
Okay.
Do that, or do they need to be open and then we could accept or deny them?
I would say that you open them and then you deny them, but if you want to try and conceal what the bid price is, I guess then you give them the opportunity to go and do it on Big Iron. I don't know how to tell you to handle
And
that.
the reason I say not to open them is, I don't, if Jim, I'm not putting you on the spot, if Jim Jensen put a bid in, now everybody's gonna know what his bid is, now they go to Big Iron and they know what he's already been
At
bid.
$1.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying not to open them, that's the only reason, not.
And I don't think that there's, without Dave here, I don't know that there's an issue with that, so I can't
We have a
say
motion.
whether that is right or the wrong way to do it.
Just because.
Who's handling doing the Big Iron bid?
We had a guy
Teresa,
that,
or is
we have a
something
local
you
guy
have?
that comes and take pictures and they put it on Big Iron,
Okay,
we have to
so-
pay,
Right.
we have to
And
pay a
then-
It's like
percentage.
a car and truck.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, then you pay, the only reason that we didn't go out to Big Iron was we were trying to keep it so that we weren't paying the upcharge and the commission on it, but
Okay.
it's.
So if
either
the Big
way
Iron
is
bid
fine.
comes in, are we automatically sold on Big Iron? So
Yeah.
he's,
Yep,
So what if these bids come in bigger than Big Iron?
then I guess probably what we'll do is if we know who the bidders were, I would probably say that the council decided that they weren't gonna open the bids and they can either come get them and see that they're still sealed in their envelopes, or we destroy them. So basically, it's null and void.
And
So
that's
we
just-
won't ever know. And my
With the lack
preferred would
of
be
bids
that
that
we
we
wouldn't know.
received, you know, that's what I'm
So-
saying.
We don't know if we're legally obligated to do it or not, because we put a deadline, you had to have them in.
We think we had an advertisement, we can refuse any bids, any
Yep.
bids, so.
Yep, you can reject all bids.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Okay, Beckman,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Jensen,
yes.
Waltman.
Yes.
Okay, consider purchase of bunker gear.
So, if you guys have the quotes.
There's 2 quotes that,
Yes. Do you wanna talk a little bit about this on, Jamie?
Sure.
Just one bid?
There's actually, there's 2 bids for,
From one company, 2 different options. As you guys all know, or we've been talking about last couple of years, that our 10 years is up again. Not my choice, it's NFPA's choice to, I guess, force us in replacing gear every 10 years. I got a quote, we've looked at several different options. I can tell you they're all within the same dollar amount. I can get quotes from other people if you would like, but, they're pretty much all on the same page. Right now I have 12 sets that are expired. Last time we ordered gear, we ordered 12 sets, and then we ordered the remaining 13 sets the following year to help some of the expense for the budget. So I got a quote from this Dingus Fire Company. They sell Lion equipment, bunker gear. Tried on a lot of different stuff. This stuff fits probably the best as far as being able to mobility once you have it on. It's heavy stuff. It's, you know, your mobility is very limited when you have gear on. This particular gear helps not only protect the firefighter, but also dissipate moisture from body sweat, caused from you know, steam burns and stuff. If you get in a real hot situation, you're sweaty, it helps get the moisture away from your body. So I got a quote on doing all 25 sets. You can see the price is $31.26 per set. If we purchase just 12, roughly $300 more. Do have a couple of options on that. I did talk to the sales rep today. If you guys want to try and split it up over 2 fiscal year budgets, it takes anywhere from 90 to 120 days to get this gear made, custom made for each guy, fitted. That he would honor the 25 price quantity if we commit to first 12 and then the next 13 beginning of fiscal year, like 1st of July or something. He'd fit us all at one time. It'd be like a gentleman's agreement. That way we are going to purchase the remaining 13 sets and still give us the same price. The shipping to be determined is thrown in also. So, which saves quite a bit. This stuff's heavy, 25 sets of gear. So, like I said, it's everybody knows it's our 10 years. We talked about it the last couple of years that this was coming. That has to be replaced.
Are we in compliance with everything NFPA says other than just bunker gear is only our only issue?
What's that?
Do we match every NFPA requirement?
Yes, we do.
It's just the bunker gear we have an issue.
We have an issue with the bunker gear this time.
Otherwise,
We've already purchased donation money, upgraded some more air packs, boots, helmets. Right now, if you equip one firefighter with a helmet, boots, gloves, coat, pants, air pack, spare vial, $16,000 per man to equip. It's good for 10 years.
Didn't we budget for this?
Yeah, we've been talking about the last couple of years, putting it in our budget to do something.
How much do we have in that, put away for, in the budget?
I don't know.
I don't have a sheet with me either, so I don't know where we're out.
I looked at it today. I mean, the official budget, we might have to just hair on a budget amendment, but we can fit it into there, and I think you have a little bit of money in your capital, on the capital side of things for
So,
this.
like I said, I did talk to salesmen about if we want to try and split between this year and then next year, if we do it. They would honor that same price, knowing that we're gonna purchase, which we have to, I mean.
It's expired, so you got 12 cents a year expired.
This isn't a wish list to make us look good at a fire scene, this is required by the National Fire Protection Agency, and there's.
And also by our
Well,
work comp.
yeah.
Safety issue.
My job is I'm liable for 24 firefighters to make sure to protect themselves. And it trickles to the city for me. So,
Wasn't there an option for a name? Did I see that?
yeah, you did not put we have a name patch on the back because everybody looks the same, walking around with gear and stuff on. We have a name patch on the back for all of our coats. It's about $85 a coat.
Does that need to be on?
He did,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not
He
included
doesn't,
in this.
yeah, he just gave me a rough $85. He didn't have that on there when I asked for it. Any questions on it?
I would make the motion that we go with 25
spread it between this year and next year.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Waltman,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes.
Hey, I'll pass that along. Give you an update on the bus. It's close to being done. We're building shells right now. Towing says our end of it, the bus completed. We are doing our own personal job on the cabinets, and I would say 2 weeks we'll be in business with it. So you're looking at doing something on Big Iron, you may keep the bus in mind, or we can advertise it in some fire magazines. There may be some department out there that can utilize it, so might be another choice.
We just have to do something with the lights, right?
Yeah, if we sell it to a non-fire service, we'll have to eliminate the blue lights, red lights off
Well,
it.
it could also be something that I could send out on ClerkNet or Grapevine or whatever,
Yep.
and have them, you know, hey, maybe some of these other smaller
Yeah,
rural places, you
a
know.
lot of
want
small
it.
towns and need them all. Some of these states that really struggle to get equipment, I utilize it for whatever, you know, but, so, hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get in service. And Teresa, I think you asked about, value on that bus. I don't have a bill from Tollings yet, but you want it equipped as the bus or fully equipped bus?
Well, I've got the
Big
value of the
difference.
bus, so
Yeah.
it's just, what she was asking for was figure on what's contained in the bus, and I kinda have a round number from Dale of
Yeah,
about 250K, so that's why I'm
yeah, you're
throw at
gonna
her.
need bus and equipment, 450 to 500. I'm sure
Right,
is what it's
so
gonna be.
that's where I'll throw Summer back that number, and if she wants more detail, then we'll
Yeah.
have to get her more detail, but I think, cause like I said in the email, I think I said I don't think I need a full inventory, maybe for your guys' purposes, if some, you know,
Yeah.
always insurance companies like to have full inventories, I was like, my homeowners would
Right,
love it if I wrote down every Tupperware dish I have, but at the end of the day, I think I'll start with a round number, and then if we need more detail, we'll go from there.
yeah, I can give you the total number on the bus when we're complete, but.
Yeah, I
then,
mean, I'm gonna start with that, and then, I mean, I think that's a good number, including all of your gear and everything, and then that's on top of the cost of the bus,
Yeah,
so I think we'll be all right.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, so.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Okay, number 9, resolution authorizing and approving a certain loan agreement.
So, we don't have the resolution, because, there is a question on, the proposals from the banks. As the local banks, came in a little bit higher in interest percentage than a regional bank. And so in my question back to Travis, I said we would discuss this tonight, but probably that we would assume that we would want to go back and see if the local banks wanted to get any closer to the regional bank number. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're left off into that. And then if we end up having either a special meeting or something going forward, that we can possibly get this decided. If not, it'll wait till the 18th. If everybody is okay with that. So pretty much, you know, you wanna make a motion to table it until then, or until we have
Just
that,
won't take any action.
right, so,
Just move on.
okay.
Move on to resolution of plat division for Triple S developers.
And I don't think I can have you guys do this resolution either, because after discussion today, found out that the replat on the division really needs to go in front of planning and zoning before it comes to you guys. So, I mean, the documentation and everything is all there. I mean, we've got it pretty much, all we have to do is get it in front of planning and zoning, and, then the council would have to certify the plat. Basically, it's dividing out, if you go back, it's basically making I think 3 pieces out of one big piece, parceling it out, and then doing a horizontal property regime on the units. So I have to get a planning and zoning meeting together quickly to get all of that decided.
Do we have a plan on when we're gonna get water over there?
Waiting on Biddy to tell us when he's gonna start the boring.
He hasn't given me a date.
I've already talked to him, he said he had to order the pipe. So we're kind of in the holding pattern until he gets it.
Cause I think the crops are out now, so I mean, whenever Biddy has time to do it.
Do we have permission from Larry to get over there?
That I haven't talked to Larry.
We might wanna touch base with him before we do that.
Yeah, very definitely. I don't think it'll be an issue, but you never
I
know.
would, no, but I would wanna dot our i's and cross our t's on that.
Well, if it was my ground, I'd want somebody to ask me to.
I would think so.
So maybe you wanna call Larry and ask him to make sure that we can be on his ground to bore through there.
I'll take care of it.
Okay,
So what's the planning and zoning gonna tell us that you guys can't, I guess, that's.
Basically what, it's in a sense of formality that they look over the documents and they make their approval on the subdivision of the plat, and then it comes to council to certify it. So they make the recommendation for approval, and then, it comes back to council and they approve the plat for subdivision.
They're only an advisory.
The same group that has no formal training is gonna tell them.
No, this is planning and zoning, not
Actually,
board of
the
adjustment.
planning and zoning is different than the board of adjustment, but,
Okay.
yeah. They've got a little bit more,
Did the city attorney have any issues with the horizontal proper regime?
No.
I know he was in
No,
contact with
he
our
didn't.
attorney, so everything's
No,
good.
yeah, everything, as far as we were except for that little tidbit of it having to go to planning and zoning, we had no issues with it. I read over it, the city attorney read over it, he was actually in talks with your attorney. Really, we didn't have any issues that we saw, except for the caveat that now it has to go to planning and zoning,
Okay.
so.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep,
No, I just, cause we need to move forward
yeah,
fast.
no, yeah,
And just like Chris,
Yeah.
they're gonna lose their sales just like I'm gonna. if
Right,
they don't.
yep,
I mean,
yep,
that's my.
yep, so,
And I know that it was something that just came up too.
Yep.
And,
yeah, I just had this in
No,
my
I know, you
hands
just
last
have it on
Wednesday,
Thursday,
Thursday,
so-
so, yep.
we have a pattern to do things.
Oh, that's fine, it's new to us, but you find something new every day.
Yeah. Thanks for your patience.
Well,
Okay, we'll move on to the approval for the city administrator to sign a declaration of submission.
Yeah, and it's, we can
Do that?
We can do that piece we can do, cause we didn't have any issues with the horizontal property regime.
We have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Waltman,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
so the planning and zoning will be that same meeting probably.
I'm gonna try and have it that same night of the 14th and try and get it all taken care of that night.
Okay,
Yep, okay?
okay.
What time will that be?
I will have to talk to planning and zoning and find out, cause I think I have board of adjustment is at 5. So whatever I can get planning and zoning put together for that night, probably I would say 6 is what I'm gonna guess on, 5:30 or 6. And then if we wanna do a council meeting that night too and get it all taken care of, that will follow up. Or we could also do a joint planning and zoning and council meeting at the same time and then get it all washed, so.
Perfect,
I'll let you know,
all right.
okay?
Okay, number 12, consider pay application number 7 for the community center. Motion to approve.
I'll make that one.
Second, roll call.
Jensen,
Yes.
Waltman,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Frank,
No.
Okay, we need to, consider the expenditure of operating funds for the community center. What, it says a budget, what budget was that gonna affect?
It's gonna come out of the capital expenditures for the building on, the operating side. So it doesn't sit in the bucket for the construction cost, but it sits in the capital expenditures for the operating side.
But it's no city money, right?
No,
What's an
We have to expense
It's
it.
gotta be in and out.
It's gonna, even though there's an in that's gonna match it, we still have to expense it, so it's gotta,
But just so everybody's aware that
Yes.
it isn't a city expenditure.
No, but
but it doesn't affect anybody's budgets, what I can't.
Well,
well,
but it does in regards to, if, and hear me out, Ward. If you're putting, somebody's donating something to the city, and thank you, John and Lori, for doing that, by the way, 10 grand, if I understand that right, Chris? and then it's not the proper stuff, then the city's got to go in and buy that stuff again. So here's where I'm going with this question. I'm looking at these fridge freezer things, and they're great for things, but is this the right thing to have for the community center? And the reason I ask that, and John, you'd understand this, Jim, you'd understand this, we have a wedding. We want it to be the right stuff while we're doing this the right way. Should it be a bigger, wider commercial refrigerator to be able to get sheet cakes and stuff in?
These are what Clyde recommended, he does this for community centers all over.
I know, but.
If it's a donation, and then the city has to put in something better, bigger later, what difference does that make? If it's a donation, it's not
Well, the
costing.
donation was, it's not a debate, I'm just asking the question. That somebody donated 10 grand for appliances, so why wouldn't you buy the right appliances to start with the 10 grand instead of buying the improper ones and then having to rebuy them later? I'm just asking the question.
Well, I think that if.
We have one of
Clyde
these
is
at the
guy
fire,
that
we
I
have one of these at the fire station.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get sheet cakes in it.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying, it's a great thing, but you're not gonna put sheet cakes in it. Why not have something big enough for sheet cakes to go in there? I'm sure Clyde can get a wider thing to put sheet cakes in. That's all I'm saying.
It's probably not gonna cost that much more.
That's just my statement. Why put these in if they're not gonna hold, and sheet cakes is a pretty simple thing, but we are gonna hopefully host a lot of weddings. That's gonna have a lot of sheet cakes.
But they're not gonna store them in there.
Yes, they do store them in there. We always store cakes in the refrigerator during a wedding until it's time to serve them, they last better. So,
Well, we can deny
Well,
these and then the city can
it-
buy them, that's fine.
why,
It-
John, I'm not saying deny them.
You know,
Make sure
these
we get the right
appliances
stuff.
these appliances are a really good deal. We're getting I think a pretty super discount on them, but, you know, yeah, at the end of the day,
I just want us to make sure we do the right thing first, not redoing it a year from now.
Again, Dale, we have to stick to a budget because the city's not generating any more money than what they have to. We have to stick to a budget. This is a donation and Brenner's have knocked off, let me finish, Brenner's have knocked off the price plus the donation from them. You can't look a gift horse in the mouth because you don't think it's
I'm not looking to
quite
get horse in the
right.
mouth, I'm saying take that 10 grand and buy, instead of buying 4, buy 3 of the right ones for the same money. That's what I'm saying.
this also includes the stoves and the microwaves
Right,
as well.
yeah. I don't know if we don't, as the council, the community center board doesn't tell us what they have or haven't looked at. We don't know, this is what is presented to us, I'm looking at it and saying, I don't think it's wide enough for sheet cake, I think it should be done differently, that's all I'm saying.
The community center board has looked at it, this is why it was their recommendation to put, they did not have any issues with these items Wednesday when it was discussed. Jeff, you can maybe verify that for me as well, at the end of the day, but, you know.
I just think we have to keep moving forward and not,
Moving forward too
Not get
fast
caught.
is a disaster.
It has been a
It's
disaster.
a
it
disaster.
hasn't been a disaster.
Yes, it
Where's your
has
money
been.
at?
We have over almost $2 million, so I don't know what you're talking about, Mike, because you sure don't have a buck in there. You know what, I'm not going there. I'm just saying, this is a donation, let's do what we got the money for. We can certainly take your comment and share it with
That's
Clyde.
all I'm asking for.
That's fine, we can do that. That is not a problem, that we can do that.
I just wanna make sure, Vicki,
Right.
that we're doing it right the first time, instead of putting something in there that's not gonna work.
We
And
can
then we're
cer-
taking that out, and now we have to find something different.
I've
That's all
had
I'm saying.
numerous conversations with Clyde about this back and forth all summer long, what's the best to do?
But we can certainly take that to him, that's not a problem.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all we're saying, but it is a donation and we don't.
And I thank John and Lori for that, if you heard what
Well,
I said
and
to
not
start
only
with.
from them, but from Brenner's. You know, they're not, right?
Now, he's given
He's
thousands
given up,
off,
yes.
more than a couple.
So that's why we wanna honor that. Sorry.
We'll just,
So we need a motion to accept the donation, is that what we're after, Teresa?
or do
No,
we want to
it's,
just,
I mean, it is an expenditure out of the city budget, that's the only reason why it's sitting on the council agenda is because it is an expenditure. Even though we have the donation revenue coming in, I will have to request a reimbursement from the foundation for the expenditure. But it's, I mean, we're the ones the city is the one that's gonna be writing the check to, to pay for the appliances, so I'm just
So-
seeking approval.
I thought the foundation was gonna send him a check. It didn't go through the city budget.
That's the only that's why, is because it's a city-owned facility, so the city is purchasing the appliances, and I will seek reimbursement from the foundation for that expenditure out of their donation dollars.
So can we make a motion to approve this with a double check to make sure that these are the best options available? Is there a way to do that?
Or,
Like, can we confirm that, have the community, have your
Or
board
just-
confirm that that is
Well, I mean, I would
size-wise,
say,
that we're gonna fit a sheet cake?
I just wanna
Let's
make
make sure that
sure,
we're big enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you understand. what I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
understand.
yeah,
Let's
I
make sure
mean,
it's all
the
right.
only reason why I have it in front of you is because the community center board basically confirmed it, that they didn't have any issue with these appliances. And Jeff is nodding his head over there as in yes. So, you know, that's why it's in front of you, so that we can get this taken care of and get this one
Yep.
next thing scratched off the list.
If they wanna change it up,
Okay.
Right, yeah, that's,
Yeah, I'll make the motion to do that. Jeff, you call and make sure to fit a sheet cake.
Second.
Roll call.
Jensen?
Yes.
Waltman?
Yes.
Beckman?
yes.
Frank?
No,
Okay, 2025 city health insurance renewal.
Great. I'm gonna make a motion that we accept that.
So, the health insurance renewal came in, basically, it's 0.3%, lower than it was last year. So, I think right now, our monthly premium, I think, is around 26,000, this is gonna be, well, actually, maybe not quite that much. Our monthly premium, based on the current people that we have, is gonna be $24,829.06.
I
So,
make the motion we approve.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Beckman?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Waltman?
Yes.
Okay, we need to reappoint Randy Schultes to the Board of Adjustment. Is there a motion to do that?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Frank?
Yes,
Beckman?
Yes.
Waltman?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Do any motion to go into closed session for sale of particular real estate?
I will move second.
Roll call.
Dave, was that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Waltman?
What?
You made the motion? Beckman?
Yes.
Frank?
yes.
Jensen?
Thanks, everybody, for attending.